Sitting quietly, doing nothing, spring comes, and the grass grows by itself. Bashō, ancient Zen. There is a stillness in this phrase that cannot be manufactured. It speaks of a different way of being, not driven by goals, not bound by urgency, but resting deeply in what is. To sit quietly, to do nothing, is not an act of laziness. It is the highest form of trust. We are conditioned to chase, to fix, to strive, as if life would collapse without our constant interference. But nature whispers something else. Even without our effort, spring arrives. Even without control, the grass knows how to grow. What if you could rest in that same wisdom? What if your being, untouched by the noise of becoming, already knows how to unfold? There is a Zen understanding that the moment we stop trying to change what is, we begin to see, truly see. The clouds move, the breeze brushes the leaves, the breath flows, in and out, without effort. Can you feel that? Not the urge to manage it, but the wonder of it happening on its own? In this space of no doing, the deepest insights emerge, not as thoughts, but as a quiet, spacious presence, a sense that all is already well. When we try to force awakening, it hides. When we sit quietly, it comes on its own, softly, like spring, when the earth is ready. So the teaching is not about achievement, not about self-improvement. It's about returning to the simplicity before the mind complicates, to the ground of being, where life unfolds with no push, no resistance, no ego. The invitation is not to do, but to notice, not to create peace, but to recognize that it is already here when the mind is silent. There is an ancient intelligence in the rhythm of life. The tides do not rush. The moon does not struggle to shine. Trees do not worry about growing. They simply respond to light, to rain, to season. And so, too, the heart knows its own unfolding when we stop forcing it to become something else. But the mind resists this silence. It says, if I stop trying, nothing will happen. If I don't take control, I will fall behind. This voice is rooted in fear, the fear that you are not enough as you are. That being is not sufficient. That rest is weakness. But rest is not weakness. It is clarity. It is listening without interruption. It is meeting life directly, without the filter of expectation. To sit quietly, to do nothing, is to let go of the need to interfere. It's to say, I trust this moment more than I trust my thoughts about it. And in that trust, something subtle opens, a stillness that isn't dead or blank, but alive, radiant, awake. You begin to sense the space between thoughts, the awareness that watches the thoughts come and go, but is not touched by them. You are not what is happening in your mind. You are the space in which it happens. And this space, it doesn't need fixing. It doesn't need improvement. It doesn't even need understanding. It simply is, silent, present, complete. So Bashō's words are not poetry. They are pointing to a reality, sitting quietly, doing nothing. Not because you gave up, but because you finally understood. Everything that truly matters does not depend on your effort. Peace does not need to be earned. Freedom does not come from control. Happiness is not found in striving. They grow like grass by themselves. And yet, the modern mind rebels against this. It is conditioned to move, to act, to plan, to chase. Even in spirituality, it asks, what technique should I master? What must I do to awaken? But the truth cannot be earned by effort. It is revealed through openness. When you stop reaching, stop grasping for some future state, you begin to notice that you are already here. Not the you that is defined by name, history, success, or story, but the one who is aware of all that, the silent witness behind the narrative, the stillness in which all doing arises. Zen speaks of this with exquisite simplicity. It invites you not to try to change the river, but to sit by it, watch it, listen, to become so still that you can hear the water moving in your soul. And when you do, a new understanding emerges. You were never separate from the river. You are the flow and the silence watching it. No need to push the stream, no need to carve the path. It's already moving, and you are already home. Real transformation doesn't happen when you try to become peaceful. It happens when you drop the effort and rest in the peace that was already waiting, just like spring. It comes when it comes, and the grass grows by itself. You don't need to make life bloom. You don't need to force insight, peace, or joy. You don't need to sculpt yourself into some ideal version of enlightened. In fact, it's in this effort that we move further from what already is. Silence is not the absence of action. It's the presence of clarity, and clarity arises when you allow everything to be as it is. Observe, notice, feel without controlling, breathe without trying. You are not a project to be perfected. You are life itself, unfolding perfectly in each breath, even when it feels incomplete. The old masters did not rush. They watched clouds pass. They sat by trees. They let their tea grow cold. Not because they lacked goals, but because they understood something deeper. Reality doesn't need to be chased. It needs to be met, right here, right now. Before the next thought, before the next plan, before the next effort to become. So sit, quietly, doing nothing. Let spring come in its own time. Let the grass grow without your hands. And know this, the stillness you resist is the doorway you've been looking for.